Hi everyone, welcome back to Ezine's Chronicles. If you are new here, my name is Ezine and I make videos about lifestyle, career paths, study tips, travel vlogs, everything in between, everything I enjoy. There's been a lot of questions people since I made my last video on how to study in the UK. A lot of people have asked me questions like what course do I need to do to get into social work. Someone even dropped a comment and said, can someone that did anatomy study social work, something like that? And also there's also a question about, can someone sponsor me? So today I've dedicated this video to everyone who wants to get into social work, or maybe anybody that is thinking of maybe changing their career path like I did. This video is for you. So if you want to get more knowledge about how to study social work, what is required to become a social worker in the United Kingdom, please stay put. So the first question that I will be attending to today is, do I need O level to study social work? So how does this work? You can get into social work either through undergraduate program, through postgraduate program if you're an international student, or if you are maybe a UK national or you want to get into social work, there are like courses, or they can actually do like apprenticeship or think ahead programs. You can actually do that if you are a UK citizen, or if you are resident in the UK and meet the regular criteria. That's when you can do with think ahead, or you can do social work apprenticeship with a council, and then you with the apprenticeship program, you know how it works. You would be working and then you'll be schooling, but you get paid for it. But if you're an international student and then you want to get into social work, there are two ways that I know, that I'm aware of. One is either you get in through undergraduate or you get in through postgraduate program. So if you are getting in through undergraduate, that means you need O level, because if you O level is like WAEC. Do you get what I mean? So it's like WAEC. They will usually ask for English results or math, or your maths results for you to get into undergraduate program. But then if you already have a degree like I already had before I got into social work, and you want to do a postgraduate degree, then that's good. I'm going to break that down for you. So for me, I already had my first degree in management. So I was asked to demonstrate evidence that I already had previous experience in health and social care, which I already had back home. So if you want to get into social work for postgraduates, what you need is your degree. Most universities, we say they welcome people from different backgrounds. So even though you did your degree in maybe management, anatomy, business, whatever you did, and you have relevant experience in health and social care or experience in volunteering, you can get into social work. So you need your degree, and then you need your personal statement, you need your CV, and you need to show evidence that you have experience in health and social care. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you're applying for a master's degree in social work, you need to show evidence that you've studied in English, and of course you did your university. If you did your university in an English speaking country, then you need something called a letter of English proficiency. So I got a letter of English proficiency from my university, which I showed as evidence during my application. So if you maybe want to have your master's in social work, then all you need to do is send an email to the school and then just confirm what the requirements are. Does that make sense? So I would say you should not let that stop you. Just get in touch with the university that you are interested in, and they will be more than happy to kind of like help you answer questions. You can get hold of them through maybe telephone call or via email. So another question that someone asked in my previous video is, can someone sponsor me to study social work? So there are different government funded programs in social work, but based on my understanding, that is usually opened to maybe nationals. But then councils, the NHS trust, or maybe charity organizations can actually sponsor people to kind of like study social work or to come into the UK to do apprenticeship in social work. So I think I've had someone say, oh, she did social work back home in her home country, but then she applied for a job and then they had to train her here. So if you study social work after studying, there is a program called ASYE program. So you need to kind of like enroll to do that ASYE program, and that is called Assisted Year in Employment. Maybe if you already have a degree in social work in Nigeria, or maybe in any African country or any country at all, then you can actually apply for a social work job here in the UK, and then they will kind of like train you, and then you get what I mean? They will train you and then you work for them. That's different. But then if you don't have a social work qualifications at all, my understanding is that that is usually for the nationals. But there is a program called Step Up to Social Work. So if you are kind of like an international student, or maybe you are not resident in the UK or a UK national, you can actually look into that opportunity for the funding. But then if maybe you were asking, or maybe you want to find out if maybe a family member or a friend or your partner can sponsor you, yes, of course, so long as they can provide evidence that they will fund your course, if you get what I mean. So yeah. So if you want to study social work, you can actually look into that Step Up to Social Work in the UK. They kind of like offer funded, they kind of like fund the program or even give you bursary. But I don't know if this is kind of like related to non-nationals. And then another question that I want to attend to in this video today is someone asked me that, oh, I studied anatomy or I have a degree in anatomy. Can I study social work? Of course, you don't necessarily have to have a degree in health and social care or a degree that is science related before you can study social work. So it is good because you will have that valuable experience to bring in. Do you get what I mean? But then if maybe you were a lawyer or you did management, because social work is more about your relationship with people, it's person centered, your approach, how you talk to people, your values and all those things, they are all like skills that you can, if you already have in your previous background, you can actually bring it into play in the profession. So even though you didn't do maybe a science course or health related course, you can transition to become a social worker. For example, myself, I was like, oh, I did management in my undergraduate, and then, oh, I have this relevant experience working in health sector. I bring valuable experience. Do you get what I mean? So you have to relate what you've been doing. For example, if you were a volunteer like I was, you can kind of like bring that valuable experience, what you volunteered as. If you were maybe volunteering an orphanage or maybe in the community, you can bring that relevant experience into the profession. You're dealing with people and people are different. So even though you didn't study any health related course in your undergraduate, you can apply for social work and study social work in the United Kingdom. And then, yeah, just to share a little about me and my current situation now, because I know that it's been like a very long time that I've not posted video on this channel. Anyways, life happens. It's been this way, but then I'm glad I'm back here. I've just recently graduated from the university, and I have my master's in social work, and I'm currently practicing in adult care. So my advice would be, if you want to venture into this journey, do not be afraid, ask questions. And then if maybe you kind of like had a different background, not health and social care background, maybe you have a background in different disciplines and you want to venture into social work, I would advise you kind of like plan yourself, have experience maybe in health and social care, gain volunteering experience, contribute to the society, etc. Anything that you know that you can do to kind of like give back to humanity, maybe in a charitable organization, and then they can kind of like give you reference. Because I think you need a particular I don't know if it's work, I think work experience, or like a particular hours you've worked in health and social care, or maybe you've worked in a discipline, or you volunteered to support your application. So I would advise you kind of like work towards that. Once you get that experience, then you can apply to become a social worker in the UK, or to study social work. So you have to study social work before you become a social worker. Yeah, that's what I would say. You can speak to maybe anyone you know that is a social worker, or anyone you know that studies social work, so they can kind of like brief you through what the journey is like becoming studying social work and becoming a social worker. Yeah, that's what I would say. It's a very, very good profession. You get to learn, you get to impact in people's lives, and then you get to get your own personal experience that will shape you, if you get what I mean. So that's the thing. Do not be afraid to ask questions. Yeah, so we've actually come to the end of this video today, and I would like to say thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed, kindly subscribe. If you have any questions, please leave me a message in the comment section, and then I will do well to respond to it. Or if you are in a journey to study social work, please leave a comment in the comment section. I would love to hear. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.